Real Madrid do come out on top in the El Cl&aacute, beating Barcelona 2-1 at home, and honestly that was one of the worst refereeing displays I've seen in general, especially in a big game this season. Wow, the calls not given and given to both teams were absurd, bro. We're going to dive into all of that, but overall, massive win for Real Madrid, claiming top spot still, retaining top spot, and retaining being the favourites for the La Liga title this season. Let's be honest, they improved massively compared to the midweek result against Juventus, where despite them winning, they weren't absolutely incredible. Today I thought they played their game to perfection, and we're going to dive into the game now. Now, of course, we can see from the momentum, Barcelona looked like they were on top for sort of most of the game, but that simply comes down to the fact that Barcelona had more possession, a lot more possession, almost double the possession, 68%. But here Real Madrid had a lot more chances, a lot more just clinical chances where you were like, Real Madrid are probably going to come out on top in this game. 23 total shots, 4 big chances, 3.6 expected goals. And I think that's mostly down to Barcelona's high line. If I was a Barcelona fan, I could not deal with that week in, week out. Honestly, the amount of chances you leak from the high line, yes, you catch them out in offside positions a lot of the time. I think there were 5 or 6 offsides today, which were insane. But there were so many close calls where, like, the Mbappe goal, that was offside, but that was wrongfully disallowed. That's another awful referee mistake today. That came off, to me, that looked like it came off Fermin Lopez. I probably need to watch that again, but that was the offside not given. There was another disallowed offside goal in the game for, I think, on Mbappe again. But overall, I mean, this game here, Barcelona they didn't look up to it. They didn't look like the typical Barcelona we saw from last season. And I understand that they were missing a lot of injuries. Let's go through it now, actually, who they were missing, because they had a lot of players out. I mean, look at this. First of all, the manager was out. Christensen, Joan Garcia, their main keeper, of course. Ter Stegen, Dani Olmo, Gavi, Rafinha, Lewandowski. I mean, these two here, massive, massive blows, as well as Joan Garcia. But they had a lot of injuries going into this game. So we already knew that this was going to be a mountain to climb for Barcelona at the Bernabeu, going into this, obviously, in second place. Now it's even tougher with a 5-point gap. Can Barcelona sort of close it? I don't think so, but again, they're going to have a lot of these players coming back into the squad, so who knows. But overall, I was a bit disappointed with the way that Barcelona played today. I just thought, overall, their big players were just not in the game whatsoever. For example, Lamine Yamal, they gave him a 7.0 today. How can you have watched Lamine Yamal's performance today and say he warrants a 7? Lamine Yamal today was absolutely horrendous. Horrendous for his standard. I'll be honest, Lamine, after that second leg, we haven't seen an elite level, I would say, performance in a big match from him. I mean, he's had moments since then, but consistently today, he was just getting beaten, battered, and defended extremely well by this man here, Carreras. Carreras on the 1v1 had Lamine Yamal pocketed, and what Cl&aacute would also do was he'd double up every single time. So Lamine just couldn't get the better of them, and he was very, very quiet today. He was rarely on the ball in offensive positions. Every time he did have the ball, the Real Madrid fans were booing him and whistling him and jeering him consistently. So Lamine today just wasn't in the game at all, and I thought that Real Madrid put him in like a gabbia, like a little jail prison cell, really, really effectively. And when you got a player like Lamine, who is so good, is so talented, can win you a game from nothing, you want him to be on the ball consistently. And against Inter, for example, everything was going through Lamine. Lamine wanted the ball consistently at his feet. But especially in the first half, Barcelona were really flourishing on this left-hand side with Marcus Rashford, who got the assist, and I thought he played pretty decently. Was a little bit poor when he moved into the striker position, but he looked tired. But Barcelona just weren't utilising the right-hand side at all. And I thought it was quite bizarre, because going up against Valverde and Jude, who work so hard, is tougher than going up against Carreras and Vinicius, because Vinny doesn't track back. It was Cl&aacute that was doing the dirty work, almost helping to defend the Lamine Yamal attacks with Carreras. But I would double up every single time on Lamine, and Real Madrid did that. But I just feel like Lamine Yamal he wasn't utilised to his fullest potential, let's say, today. And I know he's going to get memed on social media because he does a lot of talking on and off the pitch, especially on social media. He posted a couple videos on his Instagram, a couple pictures on his Instagram to get him ready for the game, to get him hyped up, psyched up for the match. And I love that. I love that sort of personality. I love that confidence. It reminds me of a young Cristiano Ronaldo. And Ronaldo's one of my favourite players ever. So I really like Lamine, and I respect his self-confidence for a guy that's only 18 years of age. But today, he didn't back that up. He didn't back that up at all, and he wasn't in the game at all. In terms of the other players at Barcelona, I mean, Szczęsny was excellent today, made some great saves, especially with a penalty save. He's a great penalty shot stopper, one of the best I've seen for sure. I mean, every time we had him at Juventus, with Szczęsny in goal, you knew there was a chance that they would miss the penalty, and he was really, really good today. But that penalty as well, come on, man. What kind of a Mickey Mouse decision was that? I mean, how can you actually give that as a penalty? I mean, who was it? Jude on Eric Garcia. He puts in a cross. Garcia defends it. It bounces off his leg. It bounces off Jude's leg. And then as Garcia's like sliding, his arm is raised and it then hits his arm and you've given a penalty. I mean, Mbappe's penalty miss was a full circle moment in the sense that it was deserved. It was a deserved penalty miss because never in a million years was that a penalty. If that was a penalty, the push in the back on Araujo was a penalty at the end. That was way more of a penalty than the penalty given on Mbappe. Even the penalty at the start, the one on Vini with Lamine Yamal. I mean, I get why it wasn't given in the sense that Lamine comes in, but he doesn't initiate contact with Vini. It's Vini that kicks his leg. But Lamine's not getting to the ball. Vini's about to shoot it. So just the individual performance from the referee today on numerous times was absolutely scandalous. The penalties not given were more of a penalty than the penalty that was given. And maybe he was trying to make amends because he knew he messed up. I don't know what it was. I don't know what the logic behind it was. But the refereeing display was absolutely awful in this game. The defense from Barcelona was horrendous. As I said, their high line, it cannot work with these guys here. People keep banging on about Koundé to me as if he's one of the best right backs in the world. And people put him in that conversation. I promise you right now, Koundé is the most decent / average fullback I've seen when I watch him. Genuinely, there is nothing special about this guy right here. Today, he was so poor. Defensively, Vini was just violating. And I'm going to get onto Vini after when I talk about the Madrid players. But this guy here, his one-on-one defending is so bad. His decision-making in the final third, in terms of his passing, is so poor. He misplaced so many passes today. Jules Koundé is like the best fullback or the best player for those that never watch him. Like when you don't watch Barcelona, you hear their fans raving about him. This guy's so good. This guy's so good. Every time I've watched Koundé, he's looked average. Genuinely. And I don't mean to discredit him, but I don't see the hype. I don't see how people say he's better than Reece James. I don't see how people say he's better than Jules Koundé. I don't know how he was in that best right back in the world last season debate with Hakimi, or if he's better than Trent. I don't understand it. I really don't see it. I don't see it at all today. In terms of the midfield, Pedri today, I mean, he got sent off right at the end. But Pedri today, he wasn't at his level. I don't know, he looked a bit slow. He wasn't dictating the tempo of the game. The Madrid midfield actually bullied the Barcelona midfield today. They were losing pretty much every 50-50 duel. Madrid were all over them, physically, imposing. Their presses were super relentless. And Pedri today just couldn't get going. I thought his passing was actually quite sloppy as well for his standards today. Usually Pedri's one of the best, or for me, the best dictator in the game, but his passing range is of the highest caliber. Today he was pretty isolated. I thought De Jong was a lot better than him in the middle of the park. He completed the most passes in the match. I thought De Jong was good. And the attack today, I mean, for example, Fermin Lopez, he took his goal well, but his decision-making in the final third as well was so poor today. There was one chance where it was a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2. He had Lamine to his right, Rashford to his left, and this guy shot straight at Courtois. It was what are you doing? You don't even have a good shot. Why are you shooting from there? Lay it off to Rashford or Yamal. Horrible decision making. I already spoke about Lamine. Ferran was okay, but as the lone striker, he's always going to struggle against their defense. And Rashford was decent. But look, for me, Madrid today were absolutely excellent. They didn't put a foot wrong. I thought the defense was so solid today. Dean Huijsen and Militao, I got to shout them out because they were winning every single header. They were clearing everything, bro. Even offensively, in terms of set pieces, they were causing so much pressure. Every time, they were the free man in the box, whether that be on a corner or a free kick. For Valverde, again, this guy covers like 90% of the football pitch. I mean, honestly, this guy's probably the most versatile player I've ever seen. I've not ever seen, I mean, this season. He's probably the most versatile player in the world right now. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play in the 8, the 6, the 10. He could play everywhere, right wing. This guy does a job wherever he goes. And for Trent especially, when Trent comes back, I don't really know what Xabi Alonso's going to do. Because Valverde isn't warrant to be dropped. Maybe he'll play in the midfield in his natural position, I don't know. Bellingham today, yeah. I got to highlight him. Goal and an assist. And the assist was world class. The finish from Mbappe was elite. But we already know Mbappe's a ruthless finisher, one-on-one especially. But that little body feint, cut in, whip ball, David Beckham-esque. It was filthy. It was absolutely filthy. And Jude Bellingham today was the best midfielder on the pitch. And he taught Pedri a footballing lesson. And I think Pedri's the best midfielder in the world. But today, Jude was incredible. And I know he just came back from that injury. And against Juventus, he was a little bit like, I didn't think he was in the game. He got the goal, but he wasn't in the game. Today, he was in the game. And he got a goal and an assist. Today he was like 23, 24, Jude all over again. Big game, big moments. He turns up. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He walks out with confidence and he makes the difference. That's why I love Jude Bellingham. He's an incredible player. He was playing off the right today, but he was everywhere. He was absolutely everywhere. Offensively, defensively. He just worked so hard for Real Madrid and he deserved his goal. And it was a horrible defending from Barcelona. It was absolutely horrendous how there was a free man on the back post like that. But look, right place, right time. Jude has that. In terms of like midfielders, like number 8s, number 10s, Jude is like, he's always in the right place at the right time in the final third. He's an intelligent box crasher midfielder. He's an intelligent midfielder when it comes to his movement. And today, like I said, he didn't put a foot wrong. He really didn't. Tchouaméni, Camavinga were excellent today as well. Goulet had a really poor performance for his standards. Everyone is like raving about Goulet this season. And I know he's had the best season so far at Madrid, but that's also because he's not suffered too much from injuries. But bro, next season, when Paz comes in, what are you going to do with Goulet? Seriously. Because you got Valverde, you got Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Bellingham. Paz is better than Goulet. So I don't really know what they're going to do. Because Goulet I like as an 8, but he has too many sloppy moments. Defensively, he can't defend. I think the mistake that led to the goal from Barcelona was his fault, his error. He made a mistake. Offensively, he's very creative. But I just think like there's so much creative freedom in this Madrid team already. When Paz comes into the play, who's already creative, and he's a more well-rounded number 8 than Goulet, Paz will take his spot next season. I'll be honest. And Goulet today wasn't incredible. I'm going to save the man of the match for the end for me, because I know Jude will probably win man of the match in terms of the goal and the assist, but who I thought the best player on the pitch was, I'll get into a second. Mbappe today was excellent. I don't think he was the man of the match, by the way. I'm saving the last one till last. I already explained that. He took his goal really well. He should have had a second. I don't really know why that was disallowed for offside. Like I said, I think it came off Fermin Lopez. I need to rewatch it, but it was a beautiful finish regardless on the volley. Yes, he missed a pen, but that's just karma. It should have never even been a penalty. But Mbappe today, he took his goal really well. He was initiating presses from the front. His movement in behind, Kovacic and Eric Garcia couldn't deal with. The pace that this guy possesses and his physicality is like, it's unmatched. No defense in the world can sort of contain Kylian Mbappe, and he was excellent today. But for me, I want to highlight Vinny. Look, completed the most dribbles in the match, but I thought Vinny was the best player on the pitch by a mile in the first half. Second half, he was a little bit more quiet. But every time Vinny had the ball, there was danger. His movement on and off the ball was of the highest standard. He was causing Koundé to have physical and mental issues. Koundé at half-time had to take some antibiotics. He had to take paracetamol. He had to take some ibuprofen. He had to take everything, every medication under the sun, because Vinny was spinning him like a Beyblade. On the inside, on the outside, the step-overs, the flair. This was a proper Vinny Jr. performance today. And I've been critical of Vinny over the last 12 months because I don't think he's been the Vinny of old. The Vinny that I knew. The Vinny that we saw in the 23-24 season. And this season he's been a bit up and down. But recently Vinny has been put his head down, worked hard and made the difference. And today he was excellent. Alongside Jude, probably the best player on the pitch. In the first half I thought he was the best player on the pitch. And the reaction when he came off sort of summed up everything. And I felt for him, I did, because I don't think he deserved to be subbed off. He was one of the best players on the football pitch. For me, he was probably, in terms of the final third, I think he was creating more problems than Kylian. Kylian was just finalising the chances, but he was creating everything. He was an absolute headache. So I understand the frustration from Vinny when he got hooked, and I like that anyway. I like it when players are passionate, players are frustrated that they get subbed off. I like it because it means they're attached to the shirt, they're attached to the badge. They want to be on the pitch. They want to make the difference. They have balls. They have a persona. They have character. And Vinny today, I have to say, this is the best Vinny performance I've seen in a very long time. Maybe in the last year or so. But overall, now, what does this mean? Because it's going to be tough for Barcelona to close this gap. 5 points clear. Barcelona need to win the head-to-head, the next one, at the Camp Nou. And they need to hope that Madrid lose another game. But realistically, this league here, for me, La Liga for me isn't that good. Because I look at La Liga and I think there's two teams, Real Madrid, Barcelona, year in, year out, that really do the dirty work, that really carry the league. And then everyone else is a bit decent / average. I mean, Villarreal are a decent team. Obviously, they drew to my team, Juventus. Atletico Madrid, I mean, they haven't even won an away game this season. I know they smashed Madrid at home, but bro, they're in 5th with 16 points. Like, everyone else is pretty mid in this league, I have to be honest. Like, in terms of whenever I watch Real Madrid, La Liga, I only really tune into the big games. I can't watch a mid-table La Liga clash. For me, it's not the same as Premier League and Serie A, if I'm being honest. But these two teams are two of the best teams in the world. And I think Barcelona, with the injuries they suffered, I don't really see them challenging for the Champions League until they can all get back into the squad and really gel and adapt. And we have to see if time will prove that to be correct. But Real Madrid, I still think, are one of the strongest teams in the world. And they proved it today. They were excellent and they played their game to perfection, I have to say. In terms of the favourites for the Champions League, I think that's still in the hands of a PSG, a Bayern Munich and Arsenal. But Real Madrid, I think, will push them. Barcelona, I think, will be in and around there. But I just see a different Barcelona compared to last season. I think defensively, they're all over the place. And to win the big trophies, the foundations have to be there. And for me, they're not there for Barcelona at the minute. But overall, as a neutral, I love watching El Cl&aacute. For me, it's the most entertaining game in the world. But let me know in the comments what you thought about the game, boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 10k subs. Like the video if you enjoyed. Share it to some friends. And I'll see you in the next one.